Alright, this is a Diablo set here. This little hourglass shaped thing, this is Diablo, and these are your sticks connected by a string. Hollow on both ends, just a little metal thing in here for mine. This is just plastic. I think professional, like really good people who do it all the time. I don't want to say professional because I don't know if they really have professional Diabloers, but professional Diablos, I guess, would probably be made out of a harder plastic, maybe some different material. But this is basically how it's done. I mean, obviously this isn't the only thing that you do, but it's spinning on the string, cradled by it, and the basic motion to get it moving is to hold one hand still while you bop the other one up and down, and that just pulls the Diablo, kind of starts rotating it. When you drop it down, there's less friction on the string. When you pull it up, it's creating friction, moving, pulling the Diablo like one side up. And relatively self-explanatory. I mean, that's about it. But that's how you do it. You can do it either way, left-handed or right-handed. But once the Diablo is actually moving, as you've seen, I think it was facing the camera when I started this little spin right here. It's starting to turn to my right, and I can't do anything about that. The Diablo kind of turns wherever it wants to. People who do this really well, like professionals, would take it, and if they get it going really fast, they take the stick, kind of like, they touch it to it lightly, and they guide it facing the other way, towards where the audience. But I'm not going to be able to get it going. Yeah, that has to be going really fast, and you have to have just the right amount of touch to get it going. When it's moving, you gotta watch out for it tipping forward and backwards. If you have your hands, the sticks aren't equal amounts away from you, like one hand, your right hand's further than the other, the Diablo will start to tip forward, and if it's closer to you, it'll start to tip backwards. And I guess that it's at a perpendicular angle to the camera is helping right now, but the way to counter that is if it's tilting backwards towards you, the front side up, you push your right hand, or whichever hand is pulling the strings up and down, whichever hand isn't still, you push that forward. And if it's leaning forward at the back end up, you pull it back. You're just kind of like guiding it to lean which direction you want it to. You make sure you always use the hand that's pulling the Diablo for that. You never use the still hand, because that would make it go the opposite way. Why that is, I'm not exactly sure, but that's how it is. So, to get the Diablo going your first time, you're going to pull it along the ground. If you're using your right hand to pull it from your right to left, and it'll get a little bit of spin going, hopefully enough to catch hold with, like, to not have it lose balance as you go, you know, because when I really started it was pretty hard. And if you're using your left hand, then roll it from your left to your right. Once you actually have it going, you're going to need to get it going pretty fast, so one of the first things you should learn is a method to get it moving more rapidly than just pulling it up and down with one hand. One of those, probably the easiest and more effective for the amount of effort that it takes and skill, is just pulling your hand left and right like this, back and forth. The hand obviously that's moving the Diablo, not the opposite one. And you just pull it over or under the other stick. I'll try and get a better angle. And it's basically doing this with the Diablo, and gives it a lot more spin than just pulling it up and down. Now, one of the keys to doing this is to get it to stay perpendicular, and it's bouncing back and forth. One of the keys to this is to get it to stay perpendicular to its whichever way it's facing. Like, it's facing almost towards the camera right now, and so I don't want it to be bobbing like diagonally. I want it to be bobbing to left and right, and that's it. And so that's something you're going to want to focus on. As I said before, with the when you have your right hand pushed forward, the Diablo will lean forward. That's the difference between pushing it over and behind, or rather over and above the left stick. Again, if you're using your right hand. If it's above, the string has to be slightly ahead, forward of the left string. So it's going to start to tilt forward a little bit, and so if it's also, alternatively, if it's behind or below the left stick, it has to be, so the string has to be slightly behind to stop any tangles. So you got to kind of alternate back and forth between the two to keep the Diablo relatively level. And this method will get it going pretty fast, actually. And so you can do throws from there. You don't really even have to have it moving very fast for throws, but it's a lot easier. You can do stuff with the stick, where it'll grind on there. You can do trapeze, all kinds of things. I'll explain in more in depth some of the other tricks in my next tutorial, but those are the basics to have fun.